Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the Rock. It's Rockingham Speedway here this evening, Thunder Alley, for these drivers to go to battle to duke it out and try and put themselves up and into victory lane. As drivers getting their qualifying times in right now, everyone hoping to try to find themselves a good starting spot, knowing that the playoffs are right on the line here this evening. Taking a look now at our playoff standings. The top 6 out of the 8 drivers that you see there on the bottom side of the screen will advance into the next round of our playoffs. So if you're Ben Gleason or Farrell Robbins, you're back there, you're on the outside looking in. You know you need to have a big night, a good night, and you're so far back there that you need to almost virtually win this race. If you're Ben Gleason, it's pretty much a win and you're in there for the 66 ride at Gleason. For James Robbins, he's not too far back of Danny White. There's a little bit of a gap until Jonathan Gaston. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of a gap there between that cut line up into our top four, where you see Melvin Brengruer, Brandon Holder, Josh Crider, and Brian Underwood here this evening. So it would take a absolutely catastrophic night for one of those drivers to fall down and potentially below that cutoff line, but anything can happen here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League playoffs. As qualifying has come to a close, that means we are ready to go. We are ready to duke it out here in this one as our main feature event about to get underway here. Let's see if we can jump in and get a quick word in from our opening command here. Mr. Lonnie Crider with the opening command here today.
Hey, the leads are falling. Somebody's going to fall tonight. So you better be on your game plan racing tonight. So race your best you can tonight. God bless America. God bless everybody. Start those engines and let's go racing and let's have a good time.
Alrighty, there we go. Giving it up there to Mr. Lonnie Crider as drivers. You heard him, man. Start them engines and let's get rolling here at Thunder Alley, as this is going to be an absolutely amazing night of racing action. These guys are about to put on what could be a very, very crazy show for us. They get lined up on the front straightaway. This is a tough track. This is a very, very difficult racetrack. One slip up, one mistake, one wrong move could potentially puts you into a whole world of hurt in a quick hurry. So it's all about keeping yourself under control, keeping that car pointing in the right direction, and not putting yourself into a position where you run into a problem and potentially take yourself out of this race. So we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll. It's starting on the pole in that beautiful target number 31. It's Brandon Holder who will start in the top spot to his outside in the Gaston's iRacing graphics, the Hall Drilling LLC number 72, that Bourbon Hills barbecue ride. Jonathan Gaston will start in position number 2. Starting in the third spot is our Season 2 champion. We'll wait for him to jump out there onto the racetrack to get a good look at Crider's ride. It's Josh Crider who will start in position number 3 to his outside. In the Chewy number 19, it's Melvin Brengruer. Starting in position number 5 in the 81, that is the Dr. Pepper Cherry, the Metallica number 81 of Sean Merriman. To his outside in the JBL.com number 18 ride, it's Wyatt Youngblood who will start there in that 6th position, and back behind him, starting in position number 7 in the beautiful Simu Cube number 79, it's Danny White. His outside, his teammate, the Old Dogs Racing Dude Wipes Extra Large number 76. It's Farrell Robbins who will start there in that 8th position. Back in position number 9 in the Team No Luck Motorsports. That is the 87 ride of Chris Getz. Getz will start there in 9th, and rounding out our top 10 in the number 51. It's the Great Lakes Sim number 51 machine of Craig Frazier. Starting back in position number 11, it's our back-to-back champion looking to three-peat here this season. The 6th ride, it is the NJB Designs.com machine of Brian Underwood, who will start there in 11th. To his outside, a driver that is on the brink of existence here for these playoffs, the 66th ride. Unfortunately, after missing last week's race, no points for that 66. He'll be looking for a big win here today to try to keep his playoff dreams alive, as Gleason will start back in 12th. Starting in that 13th position, the Premium Stock Car Racing League's number 33, it is Jordan Crider. Crider will start back there in 13th, and right there behind him in position number 14 is Alex Gate. Now, we were supposed to have William Elmore and Terry Elmore out there, but unfortunately both those drivers did not load into the sim here to start this feature event. As here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we got a lot of laps, a lot of battle in here this evening for our second elimination race of the season. There's 167 laps on the docket. You can see a couple drivers already getting a little squirrely right there. Look at White Youngblood almost having a big problem. We do see a black flag early on here for Jonathan Gaston. Gaston may have gotten too good of a start, beat our race leader, the pole sitter, Brandon Holder, to the start-finish line, so he may have a black flag for Jonathan Gaston. He may have to serve a pass-through penalty early on here this evening. This is a tough break early on for that Bourbon Hills Barbecue Toyota Camry, but he heads down pit road. He will serve that penalty. You just got to hope that he can stay on the lead lap, or hopefully only be the first and only car a lap down here this evening to try and earn a wave around a lucky dog at our stage break, as things will continue to stay just as crazy as that here this evening, as we'll see our stage breaks at lap number 40, the completion of lap 40, and the completion of lap number 80 are our stage breaks here this evening. So for these drivers, they know that they just got to be on the A game here this evening, as you do see Gaston finally rolling out of the pits here. He will go a lap down, but it's a tough break early on for the 72 ride, but he is in position for the lucky dog. Look out now! Oh, baby, Brian Underwood almost going around out of core number 4. We saw the same thing with Wyatt Youngblood early on. Youngblood able to catch it, though, able to keep that car rolling. Stays in that 3rd position, but for the 6th ride of Brian Underwood, our points leader coming into this race, not as lucky. Falls back a few positions. Now sits back in position number 13 here on the Speedway. Last driver on the lead lap is out in front, continuing to lead the way. It's the 31 of Brandon Holder. Holder out in front, has a bit of a gap here between himself and Josh Crider, as Crider sticking right there in position number 2. Wyatt Youngblood there in 3rd with Danny White and Melvin Brengler rounding out our top 5 here on the Speedway. Farrell Robbins, Alex Gates, Sean Merriman, and Craig Frazier there in 9th. It is Ben Gleason rounding out our top 10 in the 66 ride, as the No Luck Motorsports machine sits there in that 10th position. He's got his teammates right here behind him, Chris Getz and Jordan Crider, and then you do see Brian Underwood back here in that 13th position. Jonathan Gaston, first and only car right now, a lap down here on the Speedway. Sitting back in that 14th position. Not a great spot to be after qualifying on the outside of the front row. Obviously, that jump on the initial start went the wrong way for the 72. He is now going to have to try to rebound. He's just got to hope for either a caution flag or hope that he can keep himself one lap down and hope no one else goes a lap down before the end of stage number 1 here this evening. Is Brandon Holder out in front? Holder just looking to try to run away with this one, man. He looks hooked up here this evening. Crider in this 18 Wyatt Youngblood. They continue to battle back here for position number 2. Crider up the track. Youngblood down to the inside. Youngblood getting a little bit loose right there. We're going to see that all night long. These drivers are going to be sliding their cars around these corners, man. It's going to make for a lot of very interesting racing, a lot of fun action here today when we get to see these guys battle side by side here at Rockingham Speedway. As they head down the Thunder Alley into core number 3, nice and easy backing out of core number 4. You do see Crider able to hang on to that 2nd position. Youngblood going to try to mount another challenge, another charge here down to the inside of that 5 ride. Looks like maybe a little bit better in corner 3 and 4 for the 18 machine, but Crider seems to have corner number 1 and 2 a little bit better than the 18 ride. So I think they're both just kind of very equal, just on opposite ends of the racetrack. Is Danny White back there in 4th? Danny looking for some good stage points here. So is in Melvin Brengler if they can keep themselves inside the top 5, trying to come home with a solid run here in this first stage, earn a point or 2 here, and try to walk away knowing that they get some extra points, a little bit of an extra cushion between themselves and that cut line here, and trying to keep themselves from going into that danger zone of being eliminated from our playoffs. As Brandon Holder, though, out in front, 2 seconds is the gap now between himself and Josh Crider. So a 2-second gap between 1st and 2nd. And for this 31 machine, he's just putting on a clinic here. And he's just doing exactly what he needs to do, just hitting his marks, not getting out the throttle too early, or he's running into spinning the tires, or getting really loose on corner exit. He's backing these corners up and just keeping the car down low here. He's not washing up the racetrack. He's not getting too close to the outside fence where he's got to roll even farther out of the throttle. He just continues just hit those marks and doing a fantastic job at it as he looks to continue to pull farther and farther away. It's Josh Crider, White, Youngblood. They're actually starting to see the 79 right at Danny White. Reel them in. Danny would definitely love to earn a couple extra stage points here, especially if you can get around White, Youngblood, knowing that Youngblood is a non-playoff driver here on the season. So if he can jump up there, snag another point here that the 18 doesn't really necessarily need, and put it into his back pocket is, oh, baby, there we go. Caution flag is out. Yellow flag, yellow flag. Looks like Chris Getz gonna run into some issues here on lap number 15 this evening. Let's take a look and see what happens. So Getz battling here with that number 51 ride, which I do believe is the 37 on our overlay, as Craig Frazier, like maybe Craig just getting a little tight here, washing up the racetrack. Let's take a look back here. So they're door to door down into corner number 1, and yeah, it just looks like the 51 just gets tight, washes up the track, unfortunately right into that left rear quarter panel of the 87 to Chris Getz. That gets around and unfortunately brings out our first caution flag of the day. Now, great news for any of the Gaston fans in the chat, as Jonathan Gaston should get the lucky dog, and he will get his lap back, which will get him back onto the lead lap, which is a great break here for this number 72. That is definitely a good break, definitely gets him right back into the battle. But if you're a driver like Brandon Holder, who had a big lead, you now have the rest of the field right back to your rear bumper. Definitely not what he wanted to see here in stage number 1. He wanted to see that one go clean and green, did not want to see that caution flag, did not want to see these drivers back there trying to battle him for this stage win. As Holder will get ready for the restart, he stays out on the racetrack, but we do see Sean Merriman, Ben Gleason, Chris Getz, Craig Frazier, Jordan Crider, and Brian Underwood all make their way down pit road here. So a bunch of different pit strategies here for a couple of these drivers, obviously making this additional pit stop coming down early on this evening, trying to either get fuel, maybe, I don't think any of these guys are taking tires this early on, but you just never quite know. But with only 5 sets of tires behind pit wall, I'm not sure if you want to use a set up right now. You kind of want to play this out as almost 40 lap increments, somewhere close to that, maybe even 42, 43 if you can, especially in the second half of this race. If you can make it to the end of stage number 1, throw a new set on. You go to stage number 2 at the completion of lap number 80, you throw another set on. That gives you 3 sets behind pit wall still, with half the race left to go. So that gives you virtually that 40, 43 laps or so for being able to make it on 2 stops to complete this race. But if you get a caution flag later on or anything else that may come up, you may have that extra set back there behind pit wall. I think for most of these drivers, you almost need to have that extra set back there. I don't think you can afford to be on old tires late in this race. If there is that late race caution flag, it could really mix things up here and could really change the tables of how this race is going to run out. And if you don't have them, you could be in a world of hurt here late in this race, as we get them all ready to rumble, as Brandon Holder elects to use the outside lane here for the restart, as he'll start in the outside groove. The 5 rider Josh Crider will start to the inside. Is down through the Geico restart zone. Here we go, back to battle at Rockingham Speedway, as Brandon Holder, great launch, great restart, looking to try to run away once again with this race lead. As look out, they're going to split the 5 rider Crider. Oh baby, that one got tight in a quick hurry for the 5 machine, as Crider will lose a few spots and fall all the way back now into position number 5. As Danny White jumped to the outside, the 18 of White Youngblood down to his inside. Now they're door to door for position number 2, and it's Melvin Brenger right there behind him, ready to pounce, ready to poke his nose into the battle in the 77 ride of Alex Gates. Gates coming in a quick hurry here. Looks like that 77 may have a little something underneath his hood here. And now we do see some issues. Couple of drivers getting a little squirrely. That was Farrell Robbins. Looked like he almost went around down through corner number 3 and 4 right there. Let's see if we can play this back quick because, man, it looked like he was sideways right here. Contact between him and the 66 of Ben Gleason. Great job catching that car, man, and not coming back up the racetrack and taking out a few of our strong competitors here this evening. Tough break, though, for Farrell Robbins early on this evening, as that will slide him back into the 10th position. He'll have to try to work his way back up there. Is out in front, it's still Brandon Holder. Holder continues to hold on to the race lead, looking to try to run away with this one as Danny White sits there in second. Alex Gates up and into third here. Gates looking strong in this one as that Mission 22 ride trying to race his way up towards the front of the field. Now Gates was one of those drivers that did not come down pit road, so I don't know if he just found a line or a different gear, or maybe he was just trying to save a little tire there in that first run, and now knowing that he's got to work his way up here, he put his foot to the throttle there, use that caution flag to his advantage potentially, as you do see the 19 of Melvin Brengruer and Josh Crider rounding out our top 5. Underwood up and into position number 6. O'Brien trying to race his way up inside the top 5. He's hoping to earn himself some stage points here after that almost spin early on. Sent him backwards and deep in the field. This caution flag, though, gets him right back into the battle. So we'll have to wait and see if Underwood can find that extra little bit of gear. If he can find a couple open lanes, see if he can try to make a couple passes here and try to gain some extra positions here and some extra points over him and the rest of the field in these point standings. As Brandon Holder, though, just looking A-OK, looking fine out in front. He's got a few car lengths between himself and Danny White. Alex Gates right there in position number 3. As Underwood does jump down to the inside, able to get around Brengruer, now able to get around Josh Crider. So move Underwood up and into position number 4 here. Underwood making some moves here late in stage number 1 as Crider back into 5th now as Melvin Brengruer sits in position number 6 just on the outside of some stage points looking in. Ben Gleason there in 7th. Wyatt Youngblood, Sean Merriman, and Jonathan Gaston rounding out our top 10. It'll be interesting to see what Gaston can do here. Got that lucky dog, got back on the lead lap after having to serve that pit road penalty after going a lap down early in this race. That caution flag got him to wave around back on the lead lap, and now we see this Gaston's iRacing graphics, Bourbon Hills Barbecue 72 back up inside the top 10. Let's see if he can work his way back up inside the top 2 here this evening. As out in front, Brandon Holder. Let him just keep on clicking these laps off, man. He does not want to see another caution flag. He does not want to have to try and hold these guys off for this much longer. He wants to try to pull away here, try to open up a bit of a gap between himself and Danny White, but Danny's sticking right there with him. Danny's looked like he's hooked up here this evening, man. The 79 ride kind of made some ground early on. Didn't really make too big of a splash in that first run before the caution flag there on lap number 15. But here he is navigating his way around Crider, around Brengruer, and that 18 ride. Now he sits in second, and he has been hanging right here with our race leader, Brandon Holder. As Alex Gates sits back in third, you do see Brian Underwood has been able to reel them all in here, and Underwood up and into position number 4 here. He's not done. He's looking for more. Out there on the racetrack is the 6th ride. Down to the inside here of Gates, looking for that 3rd position. Can Gates hold him off, or can Brian Underwood snag another spot, which would in turn be another playoff point into his back pocket, trying to lock himself into the next round of our playoffs here this evening. Is Ben Gleason now up inside the top 5 as well. Gleason able to battle up here into that 5th position, getting around Josh Crider and Melvin Brengruer. So Gleason working his way up towards the front. Now Gleason was a driver that desperately needs to win this race. I think winning this race is the only way we see this number 66 ride work his way into the next round of these playoffs. And in turn, what does that mean for a couple of his teammates? We do see Ben Gleason. He's back here in that 5th position, and unfortunately, one of the drivers that is right in front of him here in this championship battle, the 76 of Farrell Robbins, just ran into an issue, has fallen back now into that 14th position. So he's at the back of the pack here. The last car on the lead lap. And for Brian Underwood, all of a sudden, Underwood able to jump up and take the race lead. So Underwood coming from nowhere and able to make some big passes here. Able to get around Gates, able to get around the 79 Ryan, and now look at this move right down the back straightaways. You see some smoke still there from the 76. You see the 6 Ryan jump right down to the inside. Able to make that move underneath the 31 of Brandon Holder and take the race lead away. So for the first time here this evening, we see a new driver out in front. It's our back-to-back champion, Brian Underwood, with the race lead. Underwood looking for the stage win as he drives down low, is going to lap Farrell Robbins. Now, good news is for Farrell, he should probably stay as the only driver a lap down out there on the speedway. And if he can hang on to it, then she'll get the wave around the lucky dog back on the lead lap here for the 76 ride. So not the end of the world going to lap down here early on this evening. If it's late in the race and we don't have these mandatory stage breaks, then it could be a whole world of pain for you out there on the speedways. Underwood out in front will complete lap number 35 here this evening as Alex Gates, they're in position number 2. Then we see Brandon Holder back in 3rd. Danny White sits in 4th now with Ben Gleason rounding out our top 5. Bit of a gap back to that 5 car of Josh Crider. Jonathan Gaston up into 7th here with Sean Merriman, Melvin Brengerer, and Jordan Crider round out our top 10. Wyatt Youngblood falls back to 11th. Craig Frazier there in 12th. Chris Getz and Farrell Robbins are top 14 as William Elmore and Terry Elmore still have not jumped out onto the racetrack. But for Brian Underwood, that's good news to him. A few less cars to have to deal with, a few less drivers that he may have to worry about here, causing a caution flag late in this stage as down across the line. It's only 3 laps left to go here until we complete stage number 1 this evening. So stage number 1 coming to a quick close here at the Rock as these drivers putting on an absolutely spectacular show for us, man. These guys are really giving us a good battle here this evening, but it's all Brian Underwood, who's now opened up about a 2.6 second gap between himself and Alex Gates. Gates back here in 2nd. We see Brandon Holder sticking into 3rd as Danny White and Ben Gleason right there as well. Gleason, can he steal a couple extra points here late in this stage? But I think it's going to take more than points for this 66 rider Ben Gleason to be able to work his way into the next round of these playoffs. But right now he's showing that, hey, the 66, maybe he's got a little bit of speed, a little bit of pace, and could definitely build up that confidence for later on in this run, because right now for Brian Underwood, he's just shot out of the cannon. He's run away with it. 3-second lead. He's on cruise control as he heads down Thunder Alley into corner number 3. Nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. For Brian Underwood down across the line, he will win stage number 1 here this evening. Alex Gates will hold on to 2nd as Brandon Holder there in 3rd. Ben Gleason and Danny White are top 5 here in stage number 1. Jonathan Gaston, Sean Merriman, Josh Crider, Melvin Brengerer, and Jordan Crider will round out our top 10 here in the first stage as Wyatt Youngblood, Craig Frazier, Chris Getz, and Farrell Robbins will round out the field here in our first stage of the day. But it's our back-to-back champion here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. The 6th rider, Brian Underwood, came into this race with the points lead, able to win stage number 1. That will give him an extra bonus point going into next week's first race of our 3rd round of the playoffs. So the 3rd round of the playoffs will start next Saturday night, and if you're that number 6th ride of Brian Underwood, you know that kind of just gave you that extra little bit of an edge, that extra little bit here to try to help yourself out, to try to put you into a little bit better of a predicament going into next week here with that stage win. So we'll have to wait and see what everybody does. It looks like almost everybody's coming down pit road. Looks like everybody is going to make their way down pit side. No one's going to fake them out here. Oh, maybe we will. It looks like Craig Frazier going to stay out. So for the Great Lakes Sim Ride, is back in that 12th position, is going to elect to maybe have a little older tires, but he's going to try to use some strategy to his advantage, and here staying out at the end of the stage. we'll have to wait and see how this will play out for him. Obviously, fresher tires back behind him may prove pretty difficult, but we'll see if, yeah, there we go. Tires going on, the 31, the 72, the 5, the 19, 81. Looks like all these drivers are going to get 4 fresh tires, and they will be released. So, heck of a run here, heck of a stop right there for the 31, as well as Underwood will come out in second now with Holder in third. Alex Gates will be back in fourth. Ben Gleason in fifth. Danny White, Jonathan Gaston, Josh Crider, Sean Merriman, Melvin Brengruer, our top 10 here for the restart. Jordan Crider will be back in 11th with Wyatt Youngblood. Chris Genson getting that lucky dog. The free pass back on the lead lap was that 76 of Mr. Farrell Robbins. So Robbins back on the lead lap here. He'll be back into the action, but right now it is going to be an interesting restart because we will have some crazy action here. A restart, a driver on older tires. This is going to make things fun here. Going to make things very interesting for this restart. And what these drivers are going to be able to do to try to put themselves into a clean and green situation, and we've seen how wild these restarts have already kind of gotten, and how these cars will really handle, the old, new tires, the cold tires out there on the racetrack. So for a lot of these guys, it could be a little bit of slipping and sliding for the 51. You gotta hope that you got enough tire left over here that you can kind of hang with them and not slip up or make a mistake here, especially when you got a couple of our championship hopefuls surrounding you right now, as Underwood and Holder are going to have to be the first drivers to figure out a way to get around this 51 ride, and we're going to get ready to see how this will play out as Craig Frazier has the race lead. You'll get ready to see that green flag fly. It's down through the Geico restart zone. It's a bit of a weird jump right there, and then slow onto the gas. I don't know if it was just getting slow onto the gas or if he missed a shift right there. Nonetheless, goes from first all the way back into fifth here, down into corner number 1 and 2, but look out, there's contact in front of them. Everyone's trying to dodge them because there is another caution flag and a few drivers tied up here in this one. We did see the number 79 Ryan tied up into this. We also saw Farrell Robbins in there, as well as a few more drivers, including Brandon Holders. I do believe it is the 77 ride of Alex Gates. So coming out of corner number 2, Gates. Let's just go right back to the restart here because things were kind of really different here. So they're following the 51 ride here. I'm not sure if he gets fires a little early, if he picks up pace here. What's the deal here with this 51 ride? Because he's going to start to pull away. And the 31 gets a good launch. He's in behind him. He's doing exactly what he needs to do if you are that 31 machine of Brandon Holder. And that's going to just go with them. And 51 kind of goes. 31 times it right. And I think right there, the 51 ride misses a shift or something because all of a sudden he rolls right on out of it. Let's see if we can take a look on board here with Craig Frazier, see what happens here for this restart, because this was definitely a bit of an odd one here, chat. I don't think he missed a shift. I just think he restarted in such a low gear. So he's picking up speed right there before the restart zone. It's one thing. So he's already picking up speed. He's in behind the pace car. Starts to pick up speed. As soon as the pace car leaves, he's on the throttle. You see the RPMs going up, 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 up. He never upshifts, and he's not really at a high RPM yet. So I think he just restarted in a super low gear right there, and then you're going to see right here the 77 ride is going to start to go around. This is Alex Gates. So Gates looks like as he gets up to the outside, rear end just kicks out and around on. We talked about those cold tires, and unfortunately they've been pretty slippy slidey here. He starts to go around the 31 right of Brandon Holder. He sees that. He's trying to avoid it as the 77's going around. Here comes the 31. He's trying to hang on to it, trying to keep himself out of trouble. Unfortunately, you watch Danny White right there. Danny ends up getting a big piece of that 77 ride. You're going to see Holder in the 5 right of Crider make a little bit of contact. Holder will get a piece piece of that inside fence, as will the 79 ride. And then you'll see this 31 kind of roll back up onto the racetrack. Luckily enough, I believe everyone else able to avoid him. So not major damage there for that 31 machine, but unfortunately, it's definitely a bit of an oddball restart right there, and that definitely got a lot of these drivers off guard, as we do see Brian Underwood able to hang on to the race lead. So Underwood has the top spot. It is Gaston now into second here. So back into second, didn't take him long, and Jonathan Gaston's right back into the hunt at the front. As Ben Gleason, Josh Crider, in the 19, and Melvin Brengerer will be our top 5. Sean Merriman, Wyatt Youngblood, and then we see Melvin Brengerer, Jordan Crider, Farrell Robbins, Danny White's back here after getting his quick repair, Chris Getz, Brandon Holder, Alex Gates, and that 37 ride of Craig Frazier back in the 14th position. And I think, unfortunately for this 51 of Craig Frazier, looks like there was a black flag on this number 51 machine, so I'm not sure if he's going to have to make a pass-through penalty or not. But here we go, restart in for the 6th ride. Brian Underwood, great opening lap right there, able to open up a pretty decent lead, able to pull away here from Josh Crider, kind of puts him into a good spot out there on the speedway, as we do see the caution flag come back out. Yellow flag is back out, Gates is around, Danny White's tied up in it again, and for another one of our playoff drivers here, man, Danny White has been going through it. Let's take a look here. 3 wide, and right there, I'm not sure if we see the 79 kind of come down. I don't know if he realized that they were 3 wide or not, but nonetheless, you are probably going to watch 79 ride right here. So he's trying to arc his way into the corner. 77 kind of going more to the high side. The 79's trying to get more towards the middle, and unfortunately, they're just going to end up making some contact. See contact in front of them as well. Looks like Wyatt Youngblood also getting tied up in this one. So there's contact. Danny gets pretty good hit here. Pretty good contact there for the 79 ride. Him and Gates get parked up against the outside fence there, as we do see Wyatt Youngblood also going around right here. Let's take a look back and see what happens to Youngblood, because you get some contact here as well. Him in the 72 with Jonathan Gaston. Almost the exact same thing here. This one was a little, it's about the same. 18 kind of cuts in there, 72 looks maybe a little bit more like net code right there, but they stay tied together. The rear end just keeps on going around here for the 18 ride, and then, oh, big hit there into the sand barriers on the back straightaway for this 18 ride, and that's where we got up with them here, as this thing's crab walking. That car probably about snapped in half right there. As for Wyatt Youngblood, he's going to have to take this thing down pit road and try to get it repaired. I don't know how he's going to do that, because the crew is going to have to do a lot of work to try to get this thing fixed back up. Let's see if we can jump on board and watch him here as the caution flag comes out. Here he comes down into corner number 1. There's the contact. He's trying to save it. Gets it kind of pointed back, and then a little contact again, and then finally there it goes around, and the car snaps around right there. And man, it's a big hit. Big hit, and watch this thing, man. He's trying to keep it rolling in the right direction here, trying to keep going straight, and look at this thing, this point, absolutely cockeye out there on the racetrack, just trying to crab walk his way back down pit road here to get some repairs done and hope to try to get himself back into this race. As Danny White's down pit side, so is in Wyatt Youngblood. They're trying to get their cars repaired. Craig Frazier back down pit side as well in that 51 machine. So another caution flag and another restart here as the 6th ride, Brian Underwood, will get ready to be released here. He wants to get a good restart, a good jump, as you do see Danny White able to get back out on the racetrack. Does not lose a lap, unfortunately, for Wyatt Youngblood. Wyatt already down pit road. Same with Craig Frazier. Unfortunately for both of these drivers, they have went a lap down out there on the speedway, and both of them are going to have to hopefully try to get back out there. Hopefully try to get another yellow flag or two to try to get some waiver rounds and back on the lead lap for themselves. As here we go, getting them ready to rumble once again. Brian Underwood, Josh Crider, our Season 2 champion and our back-to-back champion. Side by side, looking to duke it out here this year for that championship right now, after seeing some of their championship contenders running into some misfortune throughout this race. Gonna feel a little bit good here, especially Brian Underwood came in with the points lead, got that stage 1 win. He's out in front. He's got control of this restart as here we go. Green flag back into the air here at the Rock as out in front it's Brian Underwood. Able to put his foot to the throttle, get a great launch, great restart, opens up a couple car lengths here between himself and Josh Crider as Crider trying to hold on to position number 2 now. As here comes Sean Merriman, Merriman to his outside. Here comes Melvin Brengruer and that number 66 of Ben Gleason right there as well. As now look at more contact. Oh, baby, they're still running into each other. They're still bouncing around here on the front straightaway. They're 3-4 wide, and somehow or another, we keep it clean and green. My gosh, that was so close to another big caution flag right there as we saw the 19 ride of Melvin Brengruer right here getting a little bit of a love tap on corner entry from the 66. You see Gleason get loose himself, gets into the 19. Now the 19's trying to keep it rolling. Ends up going down the track, heavy contact into the 72 ride of Jonathan Gaston. But man, what a job by all these drivers to keep themselves rolling, keep their cars pointing the right direction, and keep this thing clean and green out there on the speedway. Unfortunately for Gaston, wrong place, wrong time right there for the 72 ride. He'll have to try to rebound once again after getting some repair, trying to get this 72 ride fixed up. See that front bumper trying to fall right off of it here as out in front, and it's all Brian Underwood here. Underwood just sitting pretty out in front, trying to open up a bit of a lead between himself and Josh Crider as Crider stays in that second position. Sean Merriman back into third. Brandon Holder has worked his way back up into fourth, so our early race leader here at 31 back inside the top 5 here. We'll see if Brandon Holder can make some moves and work his way back up towards the point here in stage number 2. Ben Gleason right there behind him in that 5th position as Alex Gates back in 6th. Farrell Robbins, Jordan Crider, Melvin Brengruer, and Danny White round out our top 10 here on the speedway as Chris gets back in 11th and Jonathan Gaston in position number 12. For Craig Frazier, Craig unfortunately back down pit road here. Looks like he is serving his black flag penalty. That is going to put him at least another lap or 2 down here. So a tough break there for that number 37 ride as he now finds himself, I'm going to say at least 6 laps, almost 7 laps down as our race leaders will come back down around him here as he's still down pit side. For the number 18 of Wyatt Youngblood, unfortunately Wyatt still down pit side here. The car is still getting repaired. Obviously there was a lot of damage and a lot of repairs to be had to that JBL ride, and unfortunately he may be down here for an extended period of time as we do see Craig Frazier rolling back out onto the racetrack. So good to see Craig continue to battle here this evening as he'll pick up the speed. He'll jump back out there onto the racetrack. Is out in front, it's Brian Underwood with the race lead. Underwood out in front. He is feeling a-okay as I do believe potentially Craig Frazier running into more problems here coming back out onto the racetrack. Let's take a look here. So Craig Frazier trying to get back out onto the racing surface, and it looks like as he's rolling on the apron, he's just going to come to a stop down here, and not sure what the game plan is for this, but he's just going to get stopped there on the racetrack, and I do believe for that number 51 ride, he may be getting the old see you later in this one. I don't believe he's out there anymore. He's not down pit road, so I do believe for Craig Frazier, his night may be done. He may have been taking that car back down behind pit wall and off the racing surface. As Brian Underwood, though, has the race lead, the 6th ride out in front, man, he has been looking solid here all evening long as Josh Crider still rolling there in 2nd. Sean Merriman back in 3rd. Brandon Holder in position number 4 and looking for more as Ben Gleason rounding out our top 5 here this evening is Alex Gates, Farrell Robbins, Melvin Brengruer, Jordan Crider, and Danny White rounding out our top 10 here on the speedways. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Brandon Holder, see what Holder can see from the cockpit here. Let's take a lap around with this number 31. Already a good couple laps around the speedway here with this 31 ride as the beautiful machine of Brandon Holder trying to work his way back to the point here in this race as that number 31 ride rolls right here in position number 4. He sees this 81 ride looking to try to go after the 5 of Josh Crider for position number 2 as they continue to kind of battle back here. They continue to kind of roll back here a little bit side by side, trying to make some moves that does allow this number 6 of Brian Underwood to continue to try to pull farther and farther away. He's about to run into some traffic right now as the 72 rider Jonathan Gaston unfortunately will go a lap down again here in this race. The contact that he had gotten from the 19 of Melvin Brangler, very, very heavy contact to that 72 rider, obviously struggling with that car, needs to get this thing repaired. Unfortunately, no caution flag here, nothing to really help him out, but you can see the damage. You can see that front bumper, the whole front end pretty tore apart here. And for the Bourbon Hills barbecue ride, the G-Man just trying to keep himself out of the way, but also trying to keep himself now into the lucky dog position, trying to work his way back onto the lead lap once again this evening. It has not been an easy run so far for this Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 72. As Brian Underwood out in front, Kreiner still trying to hold on to second, and Sean Merriman and Brandon Holder right there with them. Ben Gleason back in 5th as Alex Gates rolls in position number 6. Brent Brewer back in position number 7, and we saw Brent Brewer get that contact between him and the 66 of Ben Gleason. That's what got that 19 right sideways. Unfortunately, as he came down the racetrack, it was nowhere to go for that 72 of Jonathan Gaston, and for Gaston, that's a heartbreaker for him as Melvin Brangler really doesn't seem to have any damage at all on the 19 ride, and he was kind of just an innocent bystander trying to get through there, and unfortunately got a big piece of that 19 ride right into that driver's side door, tore up the 72, but for the 19, looking A-OK out there on the speedways. You see the 76 of Farrell Robbins back in 8th. Jordan Crider there in 9th, and Danny White rounding out our top 10. Danny still has some damage there from a couple cautions ago for the 79 ride. He'll hope to see another couple yellow flags here, at least at this stage break, to try to get this car a little bit more repaired, a little bit more competitive here later on in this race as Chris gets back in position number 11, and that's where we do see Jonathan Gaston, unfortunately, a lap down out there on the speedways. Underwood out in front, has about 8 laps left to go. And now, if you are Brian Underwood, knowing that Jonathan Gaston is another playoff competitor here in the series, if you can race your way up into this 87 of Chris Getz, which is about a straightaway away from you, if you can reel him in, if you can put this 87 a lap down, it would take Gaston out of the lucky dog position, out of that free pass spot, and that would unfortunately trap him maybe a lap down here throughout this race. So for the number 6 rider Brian Underwood to trap another one of your playoff drivers back there deep in the field, that could definitely, help you out that a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see if he can catch up to that 87 of Chris Getz as time is running out here in this stage, and we're starting to see the 5 rider Josh Crider trying to reel in this 6 rider Brian Underwood, but Sean Merriman has been sticking right here with this 5 ride. Has not left him, has been kind of stuck right here to his back bumper, continuing to look a little bit lower, trying to find another way around this 5 ride. So we'll have to wait and see if Sean Merriman and Crider start to battle and allow Brian Underwood to run away with this stage, or do they just kind of roll together, hunt him down, and pass this number 6 of Brian Underwood for the stage win here in stage number 2. As Underwood out in front, it's 8/10 between himself and this battle for second, but now here we go. Oh man, Merriman looked to have a good run down to the inside of that 5 ride. Unfortunately, could not hold down the throttle. Out at corner number 2, got a little sideways, had to roll out of it. That's going to allow Crider to continue to keep on holding on to position number 2 here on the speedway, but it does look like Sean Merriman maybe has a little bit more speed right now than that 5 ride, so we'll have to wait and see if Merriman can translate that to a good run here in the second half of this feature event. But they're both still reeling in Underwood here. Underwood still backing up to him, and there's still a few laps left to go. They may be able to catch him, but they got to figure out a way to get around him here. It's down across the line. They complete lap number 77. So 3 laps left to go here in this stage. 3 laps left for these drivers to duke it out here in stage number 2. here at Rockingham Speedway, man. The Rockin' has been such a great track, man. These guys have been putting on such a great show for us. As Brian Underwood down across the line, he sees these guys getting bigger and bigger in his rear view mirror. Now you see Sean Merriman take a peek down to the inside. They're door to door back there for a second, but they are right on the back bumper of, of Brian Underwood. And there is still a lap and a half left to go. There's a little lap traffic right here as well, as Crider sends it deep down low, looking for a big run to the inside of Brian Underwood. Unfortunately, could not get the run he was looking for. That'll open up the door for Sean Merriman to make the pass here and get around the 81 machine, or get around the 5 machine. So Merriman now into second. He's going to have one more corner here to try to make a move around Brian Underwood. He's looking deep down low underneath the 6. Unfortunately, Brian Underwood is going to throw a bit of a block right here. It'll be a drag race out of corner number 4, down and across the line. Who's going to get it? I do believe it was Brian Underwood. We may have to back this one up. Underwood may have beat him across the line right here. This is going to be a tight race back. Let's see if we can slow this down and get a good look at it, because, man, this was a tight race. But I do believe we're going to see Brian Underwood get there just a little bit beforehand. Let's see if we can get a good stop here on it. See if we can get another angle. All right there, I do believe. So Brian Underwood wins stage 1, wins stage number 2. There is that battle across the line. So for Brian Underwood, able to win the first 2 stages of the day, man. That's a big break there for that number 6 machine. So Underwood wins the stage. Sean Merriman comes home in second. Josh Crider back in third. Brandon Holder and Ben Gleason will round out our top 5, all earning some stage points, but none bigger than Brian Underwood here. Another stage win, another point into his back pocket, which is a great break there for that number 6 machine. Now, obviously, we saw the 81 come with a big head of steam right there. He was able to complete the pass before the caution flag came out, so iRacing will score the 81 in front of the 6 ride for these pit stops, but it is Brian Underwood who was able to win that stage. He was the first across the line there at the end of the completion of lap number 80, so Underwood did win the stage. Sean Merriman comes home in second with Crider, Holder, Ben Gleason, our top 5. Gates back in 6. Melvin Brenger there in 7th. Farrell Robbins, Jordan Crider, and Danny White, our top 10. Jonathan Gaston, I thought we would have saw Gaston taking the wave around right there, but I guess he is not in position. We did see Chris Getz, unfortunately, go a lap down as well. So Chris Getz gets the lucky dog. He gets the wave back on the lead lap. And for the 87, great break there for him. Tough break, though, for that 72 of Jonathan Gaston, as he will stay back here in position number 12 and still a lap down out there on the speedway, but he's getting some repairs done. The crew is going to work trying to get this 72 fixed back up and back out there onto the speedway, as Sean Merriman will win the race out of the pits here. Josh Crider will come out in second. Brandon Holder will be in third. Underwood, unfortunately, a bit of a slower pit stop there for the 6th ride, comes out in that 4th position. Ben Gleason will round out our top 5 as Alex Gates, Jordan Crider, Melvin Brenger, Farrell Robbins. I believe it will be a race here for the next driver to come out of the pits. I do believe it will be the 79 of Danny White, who will come out in 10th. I do believe then it will be Jonathan Gaston and Chris Getz there in 11th and 12th, as Craig Frazier still down and out of this race. And for Wyatt Youngblood, looks like that car has been for the most part repaired, but for the 18 still parked down pit road and off the racetrack. And as I said, for Craig Frazier, William Elmore, and Terry Elmore, unfortunately, all 3 of those drivers looks like they may be done for the evening, as we will get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. Who's it going to be? Who will find their way up and into victory lane here this evening, man, as Rockingham Speedway, man, always put on such a good show, such a great race, and we're far from done here, Chad. There's still a lot of laps left to go, still a lot of great racing, as we are just halfway in and halfway to go here this evening. Is down across the line into the 81 with another good jump, another solid restart, this time from that top position. He's able to open up a bit of a lead. Is Sean Merriman out in front, looking at trying to win this race and be a little bit of a playoff spoiler here with all these great drivers back behind him. For Underwood, he'll follow him right on through. Looks like he may jump straight up into second here. Is Josh Crider trying to hang on to that third position now. The 31 ride right to his outside here. They did make a little contact there on the exit of core number 4, but for Crider, now trying to hold on to third is Brandon Holder trying to make the pass on. Here comes Alex Gates. Here comes Ben Gleason right into the battle as well as they're trying to reel in this 5 and 31 machine. But out in front is Sean Merriman, who has this race lead. Merriman has the top spot. That Dr. Pepper Metallica ride sitting out in front, feeling good, feeling A-OK here this evening as Underwood there in second and Holder now into third. Josh Crider will fall back into position number 4 here on the Speedway. Gates right up against the fence here, looking for a big run out of that Mission 22, number 77 ride. Is Alex Gates going to round out our top 5, gets a great run to the back bumper of this 5 ride, hoping to try to make another pass and steal another position here in this second half of the feature event. As Ben Gleason back in 6th, Farrell Robbins there in 7th, Melvin Brengerer, Danny White, and Jordan Crider rounding out our top 10. Chris Gentz back in 11th, and for Jonathan Gaston, that car is repaired for the most part. It is looking A-OK, but for the 72 ride, still pretty deep here in the field. Obviously back in 12th, first car 1 lap down, needs a caution flag, needs to get a wave around it in a lap back here to get himself back into the battle, and maybe another lap or 2 down pit sign to try to get some more repairs done to this 72 machine. As we do see Alex Gates running into some problems here. No caution flag on the speedway. Is Gates going to go around? Let's take a look here and see what happens. Heavy contact here for that number 77 ride. And I think Melvin Branger are going to get tied up in this one as well. So, man, some big hits here. So for Gates, coming out of core number 2, gets up into the fence, car shoots down the racetrack, hard contact into the inside fence, comes back up the speedway here. Unfortunately, the car just will not turn, so the contact into the inside wall. Obviously thought he was a little bit better than what he was, thought he was going to be able to get this thing turned down into corner number 3, but the damage was already dealt, and the take it easy ride. See that front left tire just weeble wobbling. He's got that right front turn to try to make the corner there. Just this car will not turn, just goes dead straight. And for Melvin Branger, nowhere for him to go. He's going to drive in here, slam right into the 77. They get tied together. Both drivers wind up into the outside fence. They both wash down the racetrack here. Unfortunately, that's where the 77 ride comes to a rest. And for Melvin Brangerer, looks like he's trying to navigate his way back down pit road, trying to get this thing fixed on, but unfortunately, he is quite a ways back here now. So for Brangerer, he is down pit road, trying to get this thing repaired for the 77 ride. He's still trying to creep his car down pit side as well. And for a car that will not turn left, he's got to try to back it up, man. Look at both tires here, pointing the absolute wrong direction here on this number 77 ride, man. This is not a fun spot to be here if you are this 77 ride, because look at both tires, man. Oh, he may have to tow this thing, man. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to get it into his pit stall, and I think there we go. He's finally going to do it. So he tows that car down pit road. That is a heartbreaker there for Alex Gates. It's a heartbreaker for Melvin Branker, one of our playoff drivers here this evening. He's just got to hope that he's got enough points banked up that it's going to allow him to hang on to a good spot here in this one. As Daniel Hewitt says, my birthday is tomorrow, and if Alex wins, I will only drink Crown Peach. He saved me from burning a building and gave me a high five. Yeah, right there, man. I mean, that was no better timing for you right there, Daniel. No better timing there for you than Alex running into those issues down and out of corner number 2 right there. Saves you from your own self-destruction here this evening. So round of applause there for Alex Gates, at least being a nice friend here to Daniel Hewitt to help him out here in this one, man. That was a great save for him. Unfortunately, though, that's going to be tough for him to get back into this race here this evening. I do believe he is going to take his car out of this race, so I do believe his night may be over. And for Melvin Brangerer, let's take a look here at these point standings, because man, it was going to be tight here. for Brengruer, and obviously with this issue, he came into this race in position number 4. Now, he did have a good chunk of change between himself and Farrell Robbins, but really that's only, 19 points difference between him and that cut line. So the top 6 out of the 8 here this evening will advance into the next round of the playoffs. And with that number 19 parked down pit road, I don't know if he got any good stage points or not. I do know Danny White and James Robbins were able to get some stage points. For Jonathan Gaston, he's had a bit of a rough go here in this one as well, so we'll have to wait and see how this kind of plays out for Gaston. Points may get very, very tight here, and for Melvin Brengruer, he may unfortunately be on the outside looking in here if he can't get that car rolling, and I think even if he does get it rolling, he's not going to be so many laps back there that this is really going to hurt his chances here this evening. I think the only thing that may save him is the fact that Jonathan Gaston really is only one spot in front of him, still a lap down, really can't gain too many more positions. Farrell Robbins and Danny White, I think the lack of drivers here and only having really 14 cars start this race and virtually having Alex Gates, Craig Frazier already out of this one definitely helps him out. Now he's just got to hope that Wyatt Youngblood doesn't gain any extra positions, but Youngblood's still rolling out there, but he is about 20 laps or so behind Melvin Brengruer. So if Brengruer can get back into the racetrack and keep on racing here within the next 20 laps, then at least it could save him that one extra position, that one extra point here this evening. That could make a huge difference here for that 18 ride, or for the 19 ride here this evening, and at least save him an extra point and make him fall no farther back than 11th here in this race. But for Sean Merriman, man, out in front, he's feeling pretty good right now. This Dr. Pepper Metallica ride has been hooked up here this evening as he sits out in front. Brian Underwood sits in second. Brandon Holder, they're in third. Ben Gleason's right there in position number 4. Now, I do believe for Gleason, he's in a must-win situation here, I do believe, for Ben Gleason. Let's take a look here at those standings. Yeah, so Ben Gleason came out, almost 30 points back of that cut line. So virtually, yeah, he would need to have a big night here this evening. He would need to win this race. But for Farrell Robbins, Danny White, Jonathan Gaston, potentially they can gain enough positions. Maybe they can gain enough spots that they can all try to leapfrog Melvin Brengruer and try to get all 3 of the Old Dogs Racing rides up and into the next round of our playoffs, man. That would be a great break for them. That would be massive for Gaston, White, and Robbins to get all 3 competitors into the next round of these playoffs. But for right now, obviously, Ben Gleason and Farrell Robbins in a tough spot, and obviously for the 19 ride of Melvin Brengruer now into a very difficult position as well, parked down pit side here. That's not a fun spot to be out there on the speedways. The 81 as Sean Merriman continues to lead this race down across the line. That is lap 105 off the board as Brian Underwood, Ben Gleason, and Brandon Holder continue to battle here for position number 3 and 4 here on the racetrack. Josh Crider right there behind him in that 5th position. Farrell Robbins back in position number 6 with Jordan Crider there in 7th. Danny White in position number 8. Chris Getz back there in 9th. And then we see Jonathan Gaston in position number 10, desperately needing another caution flag and another wave around here to get back on the lead lap, and he's got to be very he's got to be in a tough spot right here because our race leaders are reeling him in a quick hurry. So for Gaston, whatever damage he still has on that race car, obviously affecting it and obviously not running as fast as what he was early this evening, and that's going to put him into a very difficult position. If we don't see another caution flag, he's going to go another lap down, and to gain 2 laps back here late in the race is going to be a lot tougher than potentially just gaining that one singular lap. So for Gaston in a difficult spot here, needs a quick caution flag to get himself back into this battle. Is down across the line. They'll click off another lap. It's lap 108, meaning that we got 59 laps of racing action left to go here this evening. So 59 laps left to duke it out here this evening is our second elimination race of the Premium Stock Car Racing League playoffs here on the season. And we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. righty, a beautiful crank it up session here this evening as these drivers give us the sights and sounds around Thunder Alley here at Rockingham Speedway. As our race leader Brian Underwood does head down pit road, we've seen these drivers slowly but surely heading down pit side here. And obviously the number 6 Ryan, one of the last drivers to come down pit road, as Brandon Holder, one of the first to come down pit side back on lap number 110. So using the fresh tires to his advantage will leapfrog him out in front. The 31 Ryan will have the race lead, but how much will he give up here on the back half of this run, especially with all these other drivers probably going to be able to make it on fuel here? I don't think fuel is going to be an issue. Everyone else should be able to make it here without having to come back down pit road in this feature event. Sean Merriman will be there in second. Ben Gleason up and into third. Underwood, who stayed out a little bit longer here, rolls out of the pits in position number 4. Josh Crider back in that 5th position, with Farrell Robbins and Jordan Crider rounding out our top 7 here on the Speedway. Now, I do believe for Jordan Crider, he's the first driver one lap down, but he does have that 31 of Brandon Holder right in front of him, ready to pounce, ready to try to work his way back on the lead lap. So isn't Danny White in the 79 ride. Now, for Jonathan Gast and Chris Gast, they're also both a lap down now. They either need a caution flag or something to happen to try to get them back on the lead lap, or try to get them back into contention here this evening, as that 31 of Brandon Holder will put Getze another lap down out there on the Speedway. And unfortunately for Melvin Brangruer, still down pit road. So unfortunately for the 19 ride, looks like his night may be over, as White Youngblood, who was able to get back out onto the racetrack, has now passed that 19 ride. Had just made the pass there on Melvin Brangruer to jump up into the 11th spot on the Speedway. So for the 18 ride, he's able to slip and slide, still inside the top 11 here this evening, keeping himself in the battle, but out in front, leading this race, it is Brandon Holder. Now, Holder had about a 4-second gap. That gap has already shrunk about a second over the last handful of laps. So right now, he is running quite a bit slower here, almost half a second slower than Sean Merriman. But that time around, Sean Merriman wasn't much quicker than that 31 machine. So maybe Sean Merriman maybe starting to play it a little bit easier. Knows he's got a bit of a gap between himself and Ben Gleason. He's got a bit of a gap until, you find that 6th ride of Brian Underwood, and maybe just trying to play this for the long game. Sean Merriman was the race leader before the pit cycle started. He's obviously just trying to win this race. So if this 81 ride starts to back it down here, takes it easy, make sure he's good on fuel, and that he doesn't have to work another pit stop here this evening, then he should be sitting A-OK. He's probably going to track down this 31 ride no matter what. He's got 15 lap better tires than Brandon Holder, so Holder is going to fall off the map here, in the next 15-20 laps or so compared to the rest of these drivers. So for Brandon Holder, he's kind of a sitting duck right now. He's got to, take care of his own equipment, but at the same point in time, has got to hope that his tires can hold on here and that they cannot catch him from back behind him, as right now he's trying to pull away, trying to open up more and more of a gap between himself and the 81 for Sean Merriman. Maybe just trying to take it easy, let Ben Gleason catch him, let the 66 ride use up his tires, maybe go after the 31 ride, or potentially Brian Underwood to get up there and go after him as well. And now for Ben Gleason, winning this race, trying to work his way into the next round of the playoffs, man. With a win is virtually the only way Ben Gleason is going to advance into the next round of these playoffs. So for the team No Luck Motorsports 66 ride, he really needs to get up here. He needs to find this speed. He needs to track down Sean Merriman and Brandon Holder. This may be his only shot at trying to advance into the next round of the playoffs. So we'll have to wait and see if Ben Gleason can get it done and punch his ticket into the next round here this evening, as Brandon Holder also looking to just try to have a good run, a solid day here at the Speedway. Had a decent gap between himself and that cut line. Has got to be feeling pretty A-OK with where he's standing right now. Obviously with Melvin Brangruer still down pit road and so many laps down, he's got to be feeling A-OK that he's not going to fall back below the 12th position, maybe almost even not falling back below 11th, even if he does get tied up in something late in this race. As for the 72 with Jonathan Gaston, Danny White. If they see that 66 ride potentially jump up here and win this race, that could put them into a whole different category, and that could put them on the brink of being eliminated here this evening, especially for Farrell Robbins. He came in below that cut line, and for the 76 machine, he just needs to keep on clicking off laps, continue to just try to get a little lucky here and see if he can maybe catch a late race caution flag, some pitch strategy to potentially put himself up and into the winner's circle here as well, or at least far enough forward that he can claim another spot in that championship 6 moving forward after today. As here we go. The 31 right of Brandon Holder. Unfortunately, the tires just not holding up here for that 31 ride, and now he's got the 81 of Merriman right there on his back bumper. So Sean Merriman has caught up to him. So hasn't Ben Gleason, and here comes Brian Underwood right into that battle as well. So Underwood, the last one of them to come down pit road, has the best tires out of anybody inside our top 5. And here he is trying to race his way back to the point, see if he can make his way around Chris Getz, try to jump up here into this battle, as you do see Brandon Holder is going to fall back to second, and Sean Merriman able to make that pass. Now for Merriman, this may be your opportunity if Holder holds up that 66 and the 6 ride. Potentially this is your time to try to open up a bit of a gap, a bit of a lead here, and hope that you can have it for the final, 27 laps of this feature event. Be 26 this time by the start finish line. So 26 more laps left to go here. Can Sean Merriman hold on to it and find his way up and into victory lane here this evening, man? Can he get it done? Can he find his way into the winner's circle here in this one? Because this is going to make things very interesting, man. Very interesting, very fun here late in this race. Our top 3 being this close together, this tight out there on the racetrack is definitely going to be really, really fun to see. Alrighty, Sean Merriman still out in front, still holding down that top spot here. But Ben Gleason right there with him, sticking right there to his back bumper. The 66 run, get it done. Win his way into the next round of the playoffs here after missing last week's race. Unfortunately, did not get any points, and that really obviously took him pretty much out of competition of trying to advance on points here into the next round of the playoffs. Came into this race knowing that this is going to be a must-win situation, and he has done all the right things to put himself into the right position to potentially try and pick up the dub here in this one. As he is right there in second, we see Ben Gleason back there in position number 2. It's Merriman, though, out in front. Gleason there in second. Underwood right there in third. About 9 seconds back, you do see Josh Crider in position number 4. He'll continue to look for more as Farrell Robbins there in that 5th position. Jordan Crider back in 6th. Danny White in 7th. And Brandon Holder, who had made another pit stop. Now look out, getting a little loose here. Had came back down pit road and threw a new set of tires on. Obviously, those cold tires, not any heat in them here, and low temperatures, low pressure, and for the 31, got a little loose there at corner number 2, and unfortunately that's going to hurt his chances even more, as he's going to have to try to make up a ton of ground here late in this race to even try to give himself a chance at maybe a top 5 run here this evening. Jonathan Gaston and Chris Getz rounding out our top 10 is Wyatt Youngblood. Unfortunately, he's only back about 40 laps down here in position number 11. Melvin Brenger still down pit road. Looks like he will finish off tonight in that 12th position. As Alex Gates, Craig Frazier, William Elmore, and Terry Elmore already down and out of this race here, and obviously with the 19 not jumping back out there's 11 drivers left duking it out here this evening. 11 drivers left to battle here in this one. Is out in front. Ben Gleason is able to make the move, able to make the pass here over Sean Merriman. So Merriman does slide back into second. Ben Gleason now out in front. Does Gleason Gleason got what it takes to potentially put himself up and into victory lane. I know Underwood's right there as well. Underwood may have to think here real hard on what's going to be better for him, whether or not it's to win this race himself and advance himself here into the next round of the playoffs, earning those bonus points as well, inching him that little bit closer to trying to make it into our championship race again this season. Or will he maybe just hang out here behind the 66 right of Ben Gleason, knowing that Gleason was in a must-win situation? If he allows Ben Gleason to win this race, maybe it eliminates another tough competitor here for this championship. And now it's kind of up to him on what he needs to decide on what he really wants to do. If he can catch that 66 and steal this win away from Ben Gleason, does that, maybe add in Gaston back into the playoffs, or maybe it adds in Melvin Brengerer, or if he allows Ben Gleason to win the race, maybe it eliminates Melvin Brengerer, or it eliminates Jonathan Gaston here this evening instead of that 66 ride. It's all about who he wants to see in the next round of these playoffs, and then potentially in that championship race to go against him, or if he's just going to be, maybe thinking more about himself here. You pick up the win, you were able to win both the stages, you earn all these extra bonus points, it sets yourself up for a good little gap between yourself and that cut line going into the first race of our third round of these playoffs. So I think for Underwood, it's a no-brainer here. I think he wants to win this race, not only just as a competitor wanting to pick up a win, but also as a driver knowing that he needs those points, that extra little bit of a gap, that extra 3 or 4 points may make the difference between him being eliminated next round of the playoffs or making it through the next round of the playoffs and battling for another championship. So I think we're going to see Brian Underwood trying to hunt down this 66 of Ben Gleason, but Gleason is doing a fantastic job, man. My gosh, this 66 ride, the final run, looks like he is hooked up and trying to run away with it. The 66 ride out in front, that was about a 1.2 second gap between himself and Brian Underwood. So he's got a lot of car lengths here, almost half a straightaway now between himself and Underwood. And for Brian Underwood, he's maybe playing with this food, maybe just try to hang on to the tires. Maybe we'll see Sean Merriman, maybe he's still holding back here. Maybe he's running it back at, 80%, 75% right now, trying to save his tires for a little later in this race. But for these cats, man, time is running out in a quick hurry. Is down to cross the line this next time by. I do believe it is 11 laps left to go here in this race. Right now it's 12 laps left and down to cross the line here for our race leader, Ben Gleason. It is 11 laps left to go here this evening, and what he could be potentially winning a big race. This could be a huge momentum swinger for that 66 ride in his hopes to try and work his way into the next round of the playoffs. This may be the win that he needs to kind of break through and really build that momentum up for a championship run. Being able to survive, and even when his back is against the wall, fighting here to work his way into the next round. As Ben Gleason out in front, it is only 10 laps left to go. The gap is now 1.6 seconds between himself and this 6th rider, Brian Underwood. Underwood kind of under fire now from Sean Merriman. Merriman right there with them, as there was still a big gap, about 8.5 seconds between them and our 4th place driver, Josh Crider. Farrell Robbins about 8 seconds behind Crider. They're in position number 5. Jordan Crider already lapped down, rolls in 6th. Brandon Holder back in 7th here with Danny White, Chris Getz, and Jonathan Gaston. Our top 10 here on the Speedway: Wyatt Youngblood, Melvin Brengerer, Alex Gates, Craig Frazier, William Elmore, and Terry Elmore rounding out our field. And Sean Merriman looking to close the door here on the 6th rider, Brian Underwood. Underwood, though, gonna battle tight here to his outside as they continue to battle door to door. You do see Underwood get a little piece of the fence right there. He's gonna cut back down low. He's gonna look to the inside here of this 81 ride, but they do see the 18 there as well. Looks like Underwood will kind of get back in line as the gap is about 2.2 seconds here for Ben Gleason. So for Ben Gleason, 2.2, almost 2.3 seconds down into corner number 1 and out at corner number 2. The 66 is trying to keep this thing pointed the right direction, and right here in front of him, a couple of his teammates. That is the 72 of Jonathan Gaston and the 79 of Danny White. Actually, they're not teammates. They are not teammates anymore. They are not teammates here. And now you see the 66 get up into the fence again. He's got to be very, very careful of that. If this 81 ride catches him, could potentially steal this win away from the 66. So for Ben Gleason, he's got to try to make his way through this traffic. And I think if you're the 72 and the 79, if you can hold the 66 right up enough, it could potentially lose him this race, which could work another one of their teammates into the next round of the playoffs. But with the 66 able to cut through there, it is about 1.5 seconds the gap now with only 5 laps left to go. So here comes Ben Gleason in a quick hurry. As Lonnie Crider says, oh boy, more good racing. Yes, sir, great racing, great action here this evening as Ben Gleason with his back against the wall, hoping to try to find victory lane here at Rockingham Speedway for tonight's checkered flag in trying to punch his ticket into the next round of these playoffs. And Sean Merriman right there in position number 2, trying to reel them both down here, trying to hunt down our race leader Ben Gleason, hoping to try to take this win away from the 66 ride here today. It's Underwood back there in 3rd. Crider there in 4th, Farrell Robbins in 5th. Jordan Crider, Brandon Holder, Danny White, Chris Getson, Jonathan Gaston round out our top 10 here on the Speedways. You do see Gaston battling his way back up to the 66 ride. So Gaston with a little fresher tires here, obviously trying to navigate the 66 ride backwards, and it's allowing Sean Merriman to catch up to this number 66 ride. So for the Old Dogs Racing team, they know that Ben Gleason winning this race means potentially 2 of their teammates get eliminated here from these playoffs. If they can affect this race, if they can make the 66 ride lose, then it could move 2 of their teammates into the next round of these playoffs. And with the laps counting down here, they're running out of opportunities as Ben Gleason down across the line. We'll see the white flag fly. So one more time around here for Ben Gleason. The gap is 1.2 seconds here. So 1.2 seconds between Gleason and Sean Merriman. Brian Underwood back here in 3rd, not really in that picture, but for the 66 ride, he's got 1 set of corners left as he exit Thunder Valley down through 3 and out of corner number 4. It's Ben Gleason with his back against the wall is able to win this elimination race, going from 8th to punching his ticket into the next round of the playoffs. Ben Gleason in a must-win situation gets it done and picks up the dub here this evening at Rockingham Speedway. Man, what a run and what a race there for Ben Gleason to win this one. Sean Merriman, great run there in 2nd, and Brian Underwood, our points leader heading into the night, able to come home in 3rd, should punch his ticket through to the next round of the playoffs. So won't Josh Crider. I do believe Brandon Holder is well locked into the next round of the playoffs with the top 7 run there for the 31. But it's all Ben Gleason as he picks up the dub here in this one. We'll get ready to pull Ben up and into the broadcast booth for his post-race interviews. He's going to celebrate a big win here this evening, man. What a run, what a drive there. As his G2 3D paints, Team No Luck Motorsports are going to party here with them on the front straightaway. They are going to be pumped up here about that one, man, as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the booth here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for these guys, man. That was a hell of a show, a hell of a battle here this evening, as let's see if we can get Mr. Gleason in here. We're waiting for him to jump in. He's probably a little excited right now. All right, here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Ben Gleason. Hey, Ben, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Ben, man, what a run. What a race. Take us back through this one and what's going through your mind right now as you're able to pick up a massive checkered flag here at Rockingham Speedway.
Well, it was a struggle fest, to be honest. I mean, that inside line you could not hold down. It was terrible. So anytime you got stuck on the inside, you just got stuck there until you could get back to the outside, or you would slide up and then tap someone on the top side like I did to Melvin twice, not on purpose. But, man, it feels good to get back up here in the winner's circle.
Yeah, absolutely, and no better time for it as well after not making it to last week's race and obviously being a part of the playoffs. It really puts yourself into a hole coming into this evening in what was a must-win situation. Now, I do believe it is win and you're into the next round of the playoffs, so does this win lock you into that third round here this evening?
I am not sure if it locks me in. Now, I gave it my best shot to get as much points as I could. We'll see where it falls. I may not make it. I may make it. I don't know.
Absolutely. So if it's winning, you're in. You're looking good. If it's on points, it's definitely going to be tight here. Obviously, we saw Melvin run into issue script this race. We saw a tough run there for Gaston as well. He was back there just outside the top 10. So for a couple of our playoff drivers, maybe not their best race, but here tonight for you, an absolutely massive, massive W in trying to race your way in and keep your playoff dreams alive here in this one. And you could tell late in this race, I don't know if you knew it or not, but it was definitely going to be tight as, I just got the word from Jimmy 6 times in the chat right now. Mr. Gleason, unfortunately, you are 4 points out for making it into the next round of the playoffs, man. That is tough.
Yep. I kind of expected that.
Yeah, 4 points out, unfortunately, there. But through this race and obviously through those closing laps, you were out in front, you were pulling away, you had about a 2.3-second lead. All of a sudden, you run into some traffic here with obviously the 72 of Gaston and that 79 of Danny White. Did you feel like maybe they were trying to hold you up, trying to block you there a little bit to allow maybe Sean Merriman to catch up to you, take that spot away, and potentially, keep you from winning this race and keep you from potentially making your way into the next round?
So I don't think Danny was, but it felt like Gaston might have been because when I passed him, all of a sudden he got faster. Then he passed me, and then I was getting on his bumper again. So it felt odd.
It definitely felt odd. Definitely looked like he was definitely trying to hold you up there, knowing that the points were going to be tight and that they were going to be potentially on the outside looking in, as Gaston and Danny White were the final 2 drivers to advance into the next round of these playoffs. Obviously, they were doing their calculations. They knew it was going to be tight. They were trying to keep their playoff dreams alive as well. And obviously, it didn't really affect the outcome of the race, as you were still able to win, and they still stayed in their same positions. And unfortunately, you missed out on the next round of the playoffs here by 4 points. But man, what a run, what a race here for you tonight in this one, man. With your back against the wall, be able to come out here, have this run, and put yourself into the winner's circle, it's gonna feel pretty good, man.
Oh yeah, it feels great. I definitely needed it. I needed the confidence boost. I came into this wanting to win. I won it. I'm very happy.
Absolutely able to do everything you could here to try to advance yourself. A little bit shy here in this one, man, but nothing to hold your head down about, because you're able to find victory lane, build that momentum, and now you get to go out there for the next 3 races and try to play spoiler, maybe try to win the next 3 as well, and keep some of these other drivers out of victory lane.
I mean, that's my plan now.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, hell of a run, hell of a drive here in this one, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening from The Rock?
My wife, my teammates, Josh, Brian, all the drivers that showed up. And I want to thank you because you're doing a fantastic job.
I appreciate that, brother. Well, Ben, hell of a run, hell of a drive here this evening, man. We can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack next Saturday and potentially right back up here in victory lane.
Have a good one.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ben Gleason coming home in first, winning the race. Unfortunately, it is not win in your in, and unfortunately, coming up 4 points shy, making it into the next round, man. I thought it was win in your in. I thought he did it. I thought he was able to gain that spot and punch his ticket into the next round. Unfortunately, not the case. It is not winning you're in 4 points shy here, man. That's a couple of spots in a couple of those stages, or maybe if Melvin Brangler keeps on battling, keeps on racing, doesn't fall back as far, maybe that's a couple points that maybe he could have kept away from Gaston or Danny White potentially if he didn't have his issues here late in this race as well. So tough break there for For our race winner here this evening, you know, the highs of the highs and then the lows of not being able to make it into the next round, as we do get our final 6 drivers here to move on here in this one. So 6 more drivers punch their ticket into the next round. 2 more drivers will be eliminated here after 2 races before our championship 4 here later in the year. As Jimmy Six Time says, it's win and in, but he missed the first race of the round, so had to point in. I get you. So he had to point in. That's a tough break right there, even, man. If he could have just, showed up or had someone sign in for him, maybe run a lap or 2 and then dip out, I mean, that probably would have been the best case scenario there for Ben Gleason. But, man, that's a tough one right there, missing that race and not being able to battle and not being able to continue battling here for that championship. As our 6 drivers to advance here are Brian Underwood, Brandon Holder, Josh Crider, Melvin Brengroer, Jonathan Gaston, and Danny White. So unfortunately that means Ben Gleason and Farrell Robbins have been eliminated here this evening from our playoff contention, man. Tough break there for Farrell Robbins, tough break for Gleason, man, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Mr. Sean Merriman. Let's get Sean up here into the booth. Hey, Sean, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir. Got you, Aaron.
Sean, man, solid run, solid drive for you here in this one, man. You led some good laps this evening. Looked like you're maybe going to have that strategy. Came down pit road there at lap 125 with the race lead. You come out of it obviously trying to play catch up there with the 31 right who pitted way earlier than you. You're able to make quick work of Brandon Holder, but in turn, you see Ben Gleason hunt you down there. Brian Underwood's right there as well. They both get around you, and as you and Underwood battle for second, Gleason's able to open up a big lead here, even with some of the drivers kind of holding him back there with lap traffic late in this race. He just couldn't find anything to hunt down that 66 ride in the later half of this race, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind right now after a very strong run, a great performance, and a solid second place finish nonetheless.
Yeah, second's not bad. I feel like I somewhat kind of gave that away because that last run was the worst, the hardest I ran, and the worst my tires got. I had nothing left by then. I don't know what I really did different that last run, but I know I ran my fuel as long as I could before that last pit stop and had to come in a lap earlier than everybody, and then I had to clutch it a couple laps there in the middle of the run, that last run, to save enough fuel to make it to the end, so that got them back to me, and then the lap cars didn't help, and then I just burned my stuff up, and Ben and Brian took care of their stuff and got around me there, and I had nothing left to get back to Ben. I mean, he ran that end of the race perfectly. Congrats to him.
Yeah, definitely timed things out perfectly there for the 66 ride and what was virtually a must-win race for him for the playoffs. And for yourself, obviously, just having such a strong run, battling so hard here with the playoff drivers, man, how you got to navigate that? Because obviously, you're a competitor, you're a racer, you want to find victory lane just as badly as they do. But when you're kind of stuck in the middle of the point situation, does that affect your race or your thought process here on restarts or anything else here at this race? How do you deal with that coming in here?
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Brian about before he pulled me in here. Like, I don't know who, I see the standings now, the 6 guys left running for the championship, but I don't know who I'm racing, but I know I'm not racing for a championship, so I'm going to treat everybody like they are and try to give them as much room as possible. I'm not gonna wreck myself and somebody else racing for 3rd, 4th, 5th. Probably wouldn't even wreck anybody for the win. It's not that important to me. I'll race a little harder next season with these guys when I'm got something to race for. But the last thing I would want to do would be ruin anybody competing for the championship, would be ruin any of their races, seasons. That's not who I am. I'd hate for somebody to do that to me. I wouldn't do that to anybody.
Absolutely, and I mean, it was A-okay here this evening because you kept that car clean all night long, kept it out of trouble, and able to come home with a very solid second place run here in this one, man. Sean, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
I got to thank the PSCRL guys for the league they put on. I've had a lot of fun. I've stuck around these first couple weeks I've been here. Have no thought of leaving. I'm having a good time. You with broadcast, I watched back past couple races. Heck of a broadcast. Make sure everybody gets a little bit of screen time, which not everybody does that. wife, kids, parents, brother, sister, family, friends, whoever might be watching, might watch later when I send them the link, and just any of the fans, anybody who's got people watching tonight, staying up till after 11 o'clock here on the East Coast to watch a ARCA race at Rockingham. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, hell of a run, hell of a drive for yourself tonight, Sean. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack. Hopefully next Saturday night, and maybe right back up here one spot better and into victory lane.
I should be here. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the 81 rider, Sean Merriman. Is Sean able to come home in position number 2 here this evening? Solid run, solid drive there for that 81 machine as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Brian Underwood. Hey, Brian, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Ryan, man, another solid run, another solid drive for you here this evening as you're able to win both the stages here this evening and come home still with a solid third place run as you're able to just kind of, slide on through, earn some bonus points, and punch your ticket on through to the next round of the playoffs as you continue your hunt for 3 championships in a row here in the league.
Yeah, it was overall, I kind of had a good points cushion with having a good race last week. So I was just kind of just going with the flow. I didn't practice, just kind of learning as I go. Thought the bottom was going to be the dominant line, but it seemed like I was wrong, and Ben kind of showcased the high line there, which it got him the win because I didn't expect it. When I tried to learn it, I just didn't have enough time. I was way too far behind. So overall, it's a good night. Just getting ready for the next round and, get ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next round here, more points that you're going to need to earn. And obviously, with those bonus points tonight, make it a little bit easier. But man, that cut line is going to be a whole lot closer here to your back bumper now, with only 6 drivers left here in this championship battle. 2 races, man. How you feeling going into these next 2 races before the, our championship night?
Yeah, so we got, Michigan, which is, I'm not a big fan of this car. It basically makes everything on top of each other. It'd be like a super speedway race. We did a recruitment race and it was a lot of fun, but for points it's gonna be probably more nerve wracking. Um, but I tend to do good at Michigan, and then we go to Bristol, which is I love short track, so just try to hit average and try to get top fives consistency and just get into the final 4.
Absolutely trying to go to Chicagoland for another bid at a championship here, looking to win 3 championships in a row. And after coming home third place here this evening and winning both those stages, Brian, you get yourself 1 round closer to making that dream a possibility here this season. Brian, who would you like to thank for another great run and another great race here after your third place performance here at the Rockingham Speedway?
Yeah, so I mean, for the the second half of the season, we got a bunch of new guys. I gotta give them big shout out because we're hitting almost like 89% green flag rate, as where before with the old drivers we were hitting very low 80s, and it's great to see a good product. We did have a couple run-ins tonight, but I mean, you're dealing with the rock, so it's probably more warranted. I gotta thank you for putting on the show, and and thank Ben for doing incident review because I bet that's a headache some weeks, and Josh for helping, and I mean basically everybody. It's a collective effort. Makes like I said before, I just come out to do this for fun. Championships are nice, but in the end, I'm just looking to have fun.
Absolutely. Have fun, have a good time, and man, having good, solid podium runs like you have been throughout these playoffs and throughout all season long has definitely been a lot of fun to watch for us up in the grandstands and everyone else here in the season as well, because it's going to get very, very interesting to see if you can keep that dream alive and keep on rounding out the top three or picking up some more wins here late in the season and trying to win that championship. Brian, congrats on the third place run, man. We can't wait to see you back out there at Michigan next Saturday night and see if you can work this sixth run back up here onto the podium.
Yes, sir. I'll see you there.
Absolutely, Brian. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the rest of your week here, as we'll see you back up here next Saturday.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Brian Underwood. Underwood comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 6 ride. As Underwood comes home in third, again, shout out here to all of our amazing drivers, man, that showed up, showed out, put on an absolutely amazing race for us here this evening. And huge shout out to everyone here in this one, because let's see if we can get a good look here at our top 6 going into the next round of these playoffs, man. Top 6 going into the next round. Obviously, we saw 2 drivers get eliminated here tonight, but for these next 6 drivers, they'll get an opportunity to continue to battle here on the year. So they'll keep on duking it out. They'll keep on battling. Let's see if we can fit this to screen. There we go. All right, there is our final 6 drivers here, heading into round number 3 of these playoffs. So round number 3 coming up. Brian Underwood will come into that race with a pretty decent little gap here, man. He's got a nice little gap, I think, points wise, coming into the next round, so he should be feeling a-okay. He's got some pretty good stage points and bonus points built up here over Holder, Crider, Melvin Brangler, Jonathan Gaston, and Danny White. So he should have a little bit of a cushion. Obviously, you don't want to use that all up in one race. You hope that you can, you don't have to use up any of those bonus points here in this round. And obviously, going into our championship race, none of those bonus points will matter straight up for drivers. Best finisher wins the championship there at, I do believe it's Homestead Miami Speedway, no, Chicagoland, for our championship race here this season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how Michigan's going to be played out here, especially after what Underwood said, how it kind of plays more of like a drafting racetrack. That's going to make things very, very interesting going into next week's race. And then obviously Bristol, man, is another crazy one. We could see fireworks there in an instant. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see how that gets played out here this year. But man, what a race, what a run, what a drive here this evening, man. Huge shout out to all these amazing drivers and all of you amazing fans for tuning in, showing the love, and enjoying some great racing here on this Saturday night. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here in this one, man. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, man. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we'll see you guys back in here tomorrow afternoon for the Outcast Racing League. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Saturday nights we ride, we fly. Premium League, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels. Heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds. Grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal. Victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms. The checkered flag, it seals